Well, hello! So today we are making a witch farm. Most witch farms involve a witch hut. However, I had this crazy idea. So villagers turn into witches if they are struck by lightning. So with the help of a lightning rod, we can make a fully automatic witch farm. All we need is automatic village breeders, a place to store the villagers, and then a chamber to electrocute them. So this is probably the most inhumane, evil way to do this. Anyway, let's get started. So this is where it'll all go down. So this area is totally new to us. The cool thing about this build is we can really just put it wherever we want. So we're out here in the middle of nowhere, and I actually like building over the ocean. I did a similar thing with the Wither Skull farm. Just build out the guts over the ocean and then infill the decoration afterwards. So that's basically the plan with this build. I'm thinking this is actually going to be a circular farm, and then the other builds in this location will also be as well. So I think I'll just lay it out and then explain a little bit more. Okay, so this is what I'm thinking. Over here, this will be our storage area for this base, and then across this diagonal, this will lead to the witch farm, which will be circular, and you can see all this netherrack here. Wherever you see netherrack, these are temporary blocks, so we will replace these with more decorative blocks later. I just needed to sort of fill in the space to get our heads around how big this space is going to be. So this is what I'm thinking. I've divided it into quadrants, so each quadrant will have a village breeder and then a village storage system. All four quadrants will then feed into the middle where there will be the lightning rod, and then it'll get repeated in each quadrant, and all of them will then feed into the middle, and that will be where the lightning rod is. Oh boy, so we have got something going here. This is the village breeding area. So there are 9 different chambers here, so that will be 36 for the entire building. So we should be getting villagers pretty quick then. The only way this works halfway decent as a farm is if we produce 1,000 villagers and then kill those every thunderstorm. I want this design to showcase the storage and the creation, so basically everything is going to face us. It's a pretty simple design. So now seems like a decent time to talk about the materials for the build. I'm thinking we're going to go with a light color scheme for the project, the darkest being the dirt, and then the walls will be diorite. And then the pathways will be birch and sandstone. And then all of the colors are pretty neutral, so we'll splash the color in with this bright green limestone concrete. The inspiration for this is, I'm kind of thinking of this thing like a nuclear reactor, so the green is like a hazardous toxic waste color. It also fits well with the green of the carrots. So yeah, I don't know what that quite means there, but yeah, we're going with it. I just brought in villagers all the way from our desert basin, so I thought now would be a good time to explain better what's going on here. So farmers gather and trade crops and then breed, and then at night all of them will move towards the beds. And then only the baby villagers can actually fit through, and then they will fall down into our system. And then also kids will run towards the beds just during the day because they want to jump on them. So I'll break through and take a look. That's not good. Yeah, it looks like he's just hanging out under the water. I might need to change that. Yeah, I'll probably just make it packed ice, and I bet that solves it. There's a chance other villagers can make it through. At the very least, he'll grow up, and then he'll be 2 blocks high, and then get pushed through. Regardless, I'll show you where they're going now, because I'm not sending these ones to storage quite yet. So I built this temporary area over here, and this is where they will be sent, and then we'll use this to distribute them, not just for our first quadrant, but to the other quadrants as well. And basically, they go under, and then they get brought up here. They'll get pushed over and then onto the rails, and then we can just send them off wherever we want from there. So basically, we can just use this until everywhere is populated, and then just take it down afterwards. Looks like they're making another kid, so let's check this out because I got distracted last time, and we didn't actually go inside. So we can actually travel under this because we are less than 2 blocks high, but the adult villagers, they are perfectly the full 2 blocks, so they cannot. So this will be really nice anytime we want to do any kind of maintenance or whatever in here. And, oh yeah, it looks like they bumped the first kid over. Look at what we have here. So this is the start of the villager storage system. Basically, they're going to come in from behind, fall down each of these columns here. So we can keep 24 in the same spot. Suffocation starts at 25 entities. So we'll keep 24 in each column. And then we'll shut it off to new villagers, and they'll just go to the next one. Okay, so this is how we're going to count them. So you can kind of see it, but back behind here we actually have a tripwire, and then each time they fall through, it'll count that. So the dropper will have 24 netherrack in it, and then each time it's triggered, it'll spit one into the other dropper, and that's great for us humans to understand, but the system needs to be in something Redstone can understand. So I dripped around a little bit, and then I figured out that we can use 20 eggs and 4 netherrack, and that will perfectly send a comparator to a signal strength of 4. So we need all 24 items to get that signal strength sent, and then after it has that strength, it'll close off the column, and then they'll just move on to the next one. So that is how we'll do it. So how do we close off the column, you might ask? So we are sending power to this activator rail, and then when it is powered, that ejects the mobs, and then when it's not powered, they'll just go to the next activator rail. Oh, don't fall down, that's a doozy. And yeah, I'll have to put an activator rail at each of these green columns, and then fill in the track as well. A lot of progress has been made, and we are now ready to send villagers through this thing. I have the piping set up, and so now we can put a minecart on it. So this thing is basically on a clock, and it'll just continuously send villagers. And so let's try this now. We'll go over here. So that seems to be working. A villager gets dismounted onto the piston, and then it retracts later. Alright, so we are in a creative world, so I could explain a bit better what's going on here, and then our strategy moving forward. So first, this is what we just saw. This is a villager goes out, gets ejected onto the piston. We need something for them to be ejected on. They can't just drop into thin air. We'll just put one at the very end, and then it'll just drop them all at once. And I think that'll work just fine. The next thing I wanted to explain is how we will drop each column one at a time during a thunderstorm. So I was thinking we could use a conveyor belt of sorts. So we have one here. Every time I push this button, the blocks will move one around the circle. So what I'm thinking is we'll pop one of these out and we'll actually put in a redstone block, and then this will rotate, and then each time it rotates, it will power one column at a time and 2 drop it. So it'll just move in a circle, dropping them each lightning strike, and that should work pretty well. So that's the concept, but we're actually going to modify it just a little bit. So we are going to flip it vertical, and we're going to do that for 2 reasons. One, we are tight on space horizontally, and 2, you can imagine this thing gets mirrored to the next quadrant over. We want them put it in the middle and then just power both quadrants at once. So you might be thinking, what's up with the glass? Why are we using glass this time? I didn't show before, but the redstone block actually messes up the pistons when it goes around. So we'll use one solid block instead, and then that will go over redstone torches, and then that will complete a circuit, and that's basically how we'll get around it. So then now, just as before, we'll be able to power each column and drop the villagers one at a time per lightning strike to have them reloaded for the next one. And if you can just imagine, each redstone lamp represents the circuitry to a piston that is being retracted. And yeah, I think that works pretty well. Ta-da! We are here, and you can see the glass and the solid block as well, and the absolute mess of redstone repeaters as we are making sure each signal is sent to and only to the correct piston on each side. So you can see the redstone torch. We're looking at the wrong quadrant here. I haven't completed this one yet. So if we go to this side rather, I have torches going up to the correct piston that will retract. So this is a mess, a beautiful mess, but a mess nonetheless. Let's look at how many villagers we've gotten. So that looks like 21 in the first column we've collected. So how we're going to handle the overflow is we're basically just going to drop them down this last column, and then they'll just suffocate down to 24 no matter what. So that's how we plan on handling the overflow. I have made a lot of progress, and I am now working on the other 4 quadrants. I'm mining out the concrete because I dropped it as powder first and then just poured water over it. So guys, what I really wanted to get done, but we are just running out of time. So here's the plan. Let's look at what we've got. So we have all of the villagers on this side. I think they're up and running, and I think that looks great, and that looks beautiful. And we have about 4 columns. So with 4 columns, that's upward of 100 witches. So basically, we're going to keep working until a thunderstorm happens, and then we'll call that an episode. Oh, and you know what? I never showed you guys the killing chamber, so let's go to that. So witches are actually pretty hard to kill. In creative, I tried a lightning generator, and they were surviving through that somehow. Those things are crazy. These guys and their health potions, man. So we will kill them with fall damage. We will have an item sorter eventually, but we'll just have this chest for now. And it looks like I actually just filled it with miscellaneous building junk for now, but no worries. Yes, that is quite the drop. Otherwise, things are coming along. I'm happy with the aesthetics of this place. We're not done by a long shot, but this is looking nice. And I do not understand why half of these are desert people. I think somehow they're corrupted from that original desert village being so old. But we're over an ocean, so everyone born here should be the regular villager. But that's just not the case. We're getting about 50-50 for some reason. Anyway, catch you guys in a bit. I just wanted to let you guys know, this is a gray bed channel. That is where our allegiances lie. Don't you dare suggest using a different bed. These are clearly the best beds. We did it, guys. We have a thunderstorm. And so we're probably only going to get like 100 witches on this one. But that is just fine for the first storm. So right now it releases the last column first, which does not have any villagers in it. So I'm going to manually send the signal a couple of times, and that will speed this up. I also need a lot more light and a lot more slabs around this place because I am seeing way too many mobs. I am very paranoid about a creeper right now. So I'll make a button here and then we can get this thing going. Oh, looks like I already have one. Yeah, I forgot I was testing the wiring to make sure it worked. So we'll need to press this a couple times. Once, twice. There were a couple lightning strikes already too, so yeah, I'll do one more. And we'll check things out. Oh no. Oh, no, crap. Yeah, or I'll just accidentally release everyone. Well, this is a disaster piece. Yeah, so they're just gonna cram down to 25 witches, basically. So that's what we'll get for this first run, actually. Yet it's pretty wild seeing them all down there. You can see the hearts, but they can't actually breed for a couple of reasons. And yeah, there is the entity cramming. Yeah, also looks like I need to cap this pipe. They're getting up there somehow. Alright, I'll just wait for them to get loaded. Oh, come on! I turned for a second. I turned for 1 second! Wow, this could have gone so much better. Alright. Yeah, it's interesting that the witches in there do not care about the villagers. That baby was converted, I'm pretty sure. The other ones should be... The ones over here should be protected, but the ones in the unfinished construction are not. So I'm just going to sleep, and we're going to clean this place up. Oh, okay, there we go. So we got to see that drop, I guess. Still probably need to sleep here. Oh, look, another one. I'm feeling a lot better now that we got those on camera. Alright, let's check out what we got. Yeah, that looks like 20 witches. Alright, let's look back up here. Alright, so 2 villagers on the top because I didn't cap it. 1 witch somehow teleported to be with the lightning rod. And this place could use some cleaning. But, the concept seems to work. And that is what is important. Alright guys, time for some housekeeping. So, in the last few episodes, I was given a couple of suggestions. So one of the suggestions was, I need to be more clear about our goals for the episode, and then follow that like sort of logically across the episode. Someone else suggested graphically to turn bobbing on, and then someone else suggested graphically to remove the connected edges from glass. So I have Optifine in, and so I have done that now. And so we can look at that now. This was filmed at the very, very start of the episode, actually. So we can look at the changes in the glass, specifically in our mob area. And wow, does it look a lot better or what? That was a great idea. So hopefully I was able to incorporate all three of those feedback items into this episode. And if you have any feedback, be sure to give it to me. So next up, I have to say, I've been looking at analytics, and my top 2 cities are Melbourne and Sydney. So, shout out Australia. I have had a lot of fun telling my friends that I'm big in Australia. So yeah, guys, huge in Australia. As big as someone with fewer than 1K subs can be anyway. But shout out Australia, shout out the Aussies, and shout out to the greatest Aussie of all, Ozzy Osbourne. Alright, let's get to the comments. Triggerma asks, will you do a Halloween episode? Yes. Done. Next question. Yeah. So this witch farm kind of was our Halloween theme. We're going to be working on it a bunch this October. And also, I'm going to start wearing a pumpkin. Just kidding. That's a terrible idea. But thank you guys for making it this far. Be sure to leave your comments below, and they might be included into the episode. Anyway, thanks guys. Bye.